Your cat is staring at you right now, waiting by an empty bowl. You'll get up, you'll feed it. You always do. But ask yourself something. In 10,000 years of doing this exact routine, have you ever once stopped to wonder who actually trained who? The easy answer is domestication. Same story as dogs, right? Humans picked the friendliest animals, bred them, shaped them into pets, except that's not what happened. Not even close. Here's the real story, and it's much stranger than you think. Cats were never domesticated. Not in the way you're imagining. What you call owning a cat is actually something no scientist fully expected. Picture an island, Cyprus, roughly 9,500 years ago. Archaeologists dig into a Neolithic grave and find a human skeleton. Right beside it, deliberately placed, deliberately aligned, a cat skeleton. No collar, no leash. No sign that this animal was ever trained. And here's what almost nobody mentions when they tell this story. That grave is thousands of years older than Egyptian cat worship. Older than anything we usually point to as the beginning of cats and humans. Which means the timeline everyone assumes is backwards. Humans didn't choose cats first. Cats chose grain. Think about what farming actually created. Surplus wheat, stored wheat. And stored wheat does one thing immediately. It calls in every rodent for miles. Rodents meant food, and wherever there's food, something's hunting it. Wildcats followed the rats straight into human settlements, but here's the part that flips the whole story on its head. Those wildcats weren't tamed by humans. They tamed themselves. Generation after generation, the calmest, boldest individuals kept inching closer to people because closer meant easier meals. Scientists have a word for this: commensalism. One species benefits, the other barely notices. Not friendship, not loyalty. Pure opportunism, refined over 10,000 years. In 2007, a geneticist named Carlos Driscoll set out to settle the question for good. Working with the University of Oxford, he sequenced DNA from cats across the entire Near East. Every domestic cat alive today descends from a single wildcat subspecies, Felis sylvestris lebica, from the Fertile Crescent. One ancestor, one region, one slow migration, made entirely on the cat's terms. Driscoll's conclusion was blunt. Cats domesticated themselves. Humans were just the scenery. Now here's where it gets even stranger. Dogs evolved next to hunting humans. They needed obedience. They needed hierarchy, an alpha, a chain of command, because that's how pack animals survive. Cats never had a pack to begin with. They hunt alone. There's no alpha to obey, no chain of command to slot into. So when a cat walks into your house, it isn't bringing centuries of bred-in submission. It's bringing a mind that evolved completely without you in it, and that mind is more calculating than you'd guess. In 2009, a researcher named Karen McComb at the University of Sussex recorded something that should unsettle you a little. Cats producing a specific purr, but only when they wanted food. Inside that purr was a frequency that matched something very particular, the cry of a human infant. That's not a coincidence. That's selection at work. The cats whose cries sounded more urgent got fed faster. Generation after generation, the ones best at hijacking human attention simply out-reproduced the ones who weren't. In other words, manipulation became biology. So that stare you get by the empty food bowl, it's not affection waiting for a response. It's a tool, inherited and sharpened over thousands of years, aimed directly at you. You are not the owner in this story. You're the terrain. And this is where the whole domestication story breaks apart. Every other animal humans brought into their homes lost something in the process. Livestock became property. Wolves became dependent, anxious without us, reshaped down to their hormones. Cats walked the same path and kept everything. Their independence, their hunting instinct, their ability to vanish into the wild tomorrow and survive just fine. And they still got the shelter, the food, the warmth. No other species in human history has negotiated a deal that good. Maybe that's exactly why a cat's indifference gets under people's skin in a way a dog's loyalty never does. A dog looks at you like you're the center of its universe. A cat just watches, calculates, decides whether to stay. For 10,000 years, we've told ourselves we domesticated the animals living in our homes. Cats never agreed to that story. They walked in as scavengers chasing rats, and somehow walked out of that bargain having trained an entire species of large primates to open cans on command, on cue, on demand. The wildcat wanted food. The human wanted fewer rodents. That was the whole deal. No love, no loyalty, no leash. Everything you actually associate with cats now, the affection, the photos, the ruined furniture, that wasn't part of the contract. That was just what happened after. So next time your cat sits by that bowl, staring, ask yourself what's really being measured in that look. It's not whether you deserve to be loved, it's whether you're still worth keeping around.